Right. Hello everyone and welcome. We have some more backrooms footage. Well, not footage, info. It turns out that Kane Pixels might be doing a video that he made for like the head of it, not like for the actual legit fandom. Because I was searching through like crap through YouTube, and they'll I'll have to explain, but yeah, hang on.
Hey everybody, what is going on?
That's
Welcome to
Brew.
the first Brugly video in 2022. And this one's still pre-recorded. I'm doing this back on the 11th, but we're nearing the entirety of the videos being face cam with text as well, so hopefully you guys are ready for that. If you're bored of my face by now, well, I feel really sorry for you because this is what it's gonna have to be. Today's video is specifically about backrooms level 188, which is one of the most popular levels because...
Does everyone remember what the backrooms level looked like? It was what that guy saw when he fell through level 0. I'll let the video play so we can all catch up.
Real life, the picture does. And it's really creepy. Why does this picture in place exist? I don't know. Let's get into it. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Thought I'd bring that OG intro back, because why not? In today's video, I'm going to be explaining level 188 of the backrooms, aka the Courtyard of Windows. Let's get into it.
Which is what we saw in that backrooms video.
Aka the Courtyard of...
There we go. See, that's what that guy saw in that's what that guy in the Kane's Pixels thingy saw. Remember when he fell through that hole again? Right, I need to stop. I'm excited. This is generally interesting to me. Because that Kane Pixels scared me.
And is the biggest hotspot in the entire backrooms for the window entity. The level looks like a big building with a courtyard inside of the middle of it. The courtyard itself is shaped like a pentagon, and there can be anywhere from 90 to 200 windows on the walls at any time. Obviously, the number changes depending on what time of day it is, and the majority of the windows themselves are inactive. But the ones that are not inactive have a light that shines through them, and there'll be a mysterious entity inside. Nice. The walls where the windows are have no doors, no rooms, nothing like that. They're legitimately just windows. And if you look straight up above you, you'll notice that there isn't even a roof. It's just like a darkness. The stuff that looks like grass in the Pentagon floor is actually not grass. It's moss. And this moss grows up through the concrete somehow. There's also these really weird pipes that are on the wall that are leaking liquid. This liquid is not safe to drink. In the very middle of the courtyard, there's a wooden circle that's theorized to be a trap door that might lead to a different level, but this hasn't been tested. There are no bases here, and you can only enter this level through a window that can appear inside of the hub. However, this is not advised since windows have those shadowy figures that might attack you. You can leave this level by going through one of the windows, but specifically try to go through the window that you came in from, since you know for sure it works. Nice. And yeah, that's just it for this creepy video. It's a pretty short one, but I really like this level because this picture is actually a picture of a real place.
Well,
the fact that
since Brugly looks at shit from the official, there's actually an official website. I didn't get to have a look at it because I don't want to, because Kane Pixels and Brugly are from two different parties. Brugly is from the official website, and then Kane Pixels is like making a not piss take I can't remember what the word is, but it's like a memorial sort of like video, something like that. It's like a video to pay respects to something. I can't remember what the official word is, but so yeah.
It's real is just really creepy to me, so I wanted to make a video about it. And I also feel like we never hear about the window entity, so I kind of just wanted to shed some light on them, show you their home place, I guess. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Happy New Year's, everyone. I hope you go set goals for yourself this year. I hope you got some stuff planned. Stick to them. It's gonna be
yeah, I do have shit planned. Cry in my bed every night.
Coming. I really hope you're ready. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.
Right, sorry everyone about the noise, but I'm kind of hungry and I'm eating.
Hello everyone and welcome back to
Excuse
another
me.
video here on the Brugly channel. This video will be all about level 3999, aka the true ending. This level is from the fandom, but I don't care because I think it's pretty cool. It's one of the best ones on the fandom.
Ah, okay,
This
so
is
this isn't
another way
official.
to exit the backrooms. Like I said in the last video I made about exiting the backrooms, there are no ways on the backrooms wikidot, so we had to go over to the fandom to get the ways. And here we are with another one, level 3999. This level apparently is one of the only exits to the backrooms. I thought that the way out in my previous video was the only way on the fandom to mention how to exit, but this level actually does, and a bunch of you guys told me to do it. It's got a survival difficulty of 0, and it looks like an infinite arcade. This arcade looks like it's from real life, but it's obviously not. It's in the backrooms. The outside of the place looks normal. You can see cars and trees and streetlights. Just basic outside stuff. Only problem is you can't get out there until you've done a few things, which we'll talk about later. The arcade games here are not like retro arcade games like you're probably thinking. They're actually games from real life, like Minecraft, Terraria, Roblox, that kind of stuff.
Gay.
Duty even. And the machines are known to induce this really relaxing effect on you, and this effect can actually increase your sanity if you've lost any. So, nice. They also induce feelings of normalcy, obviously, because they're from real life. And anything from real life in the backrooms will induce comfort and normalcy. The only downside to playing these games is if you have rage issues, because if you hit the machines or if you break something, you'll instantly faint.
Oh.
And every time you do that, again, you'll faint over and over again. So, don't do that. There's hardly ever anyone here, though, except in the colonies that I'll talk about later. That aspect alone can make people kind of uneasy about this level because it's just a huge, infinite, empty arcade. Sometimes, though, these weird meteorites fall from the ceiling inside of the building, but they don't do any damage to the machines or the floors, the ceilings, or anything, which leads people to believe that they're just an illusion caused by the lights on the level, which is kind of weird, but what in the backrooms isn't weird. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can indeed get back to the front rooms, or reality, from this level. But to do so, you kind of have to complete a checklist, kind of like the 13 tasks Hercules had before he could, become what he was. These things can last anywhere from 4 minutes to 12 years, and the longevity of the task depends on how hard it is. They can be anything from slaying an entity or a creature to eating a certain amount of food or drinking a certain amount of water. It really just depends. If you don't complete the tasks that you've been given, you'll either be unalived or you'll be condemned to stay in the backrooms forever and never escape. Nice. To get one of these checklists, you have to walk towards the sunset on this level, which I guess you can see through the glass panes in the windows, for an unknown amount of time. And then you'll be given a checklist in an unknown way. I really like the details here. But yeah, after you walk towards the sunset and get your checklist, you'll have it, and then you'll have to start completing your task. There doesn't seem to be a correlation on why these tasks are given to certain people, or why some of them are a lot harder than other ones, but it is what it is. If you do complete your tasks, the glass doors to the level will be open.
Right, since this isn't official, my theory on this is maybe it's different for the difficulty of how to leave is more difficult than others. It's because some people maybe did something wrong in reality before falling through the ground, and basically this is the backrooms way of saying karma's a bitch.
Up and you can walk out and you can go back.
But it's just a theory, a gay theory, and fuck me.
And Cafe Studio 52-1. And these areas are just kind of chill, relaxing, eatery kind of areas that are on the level. And these are really the only people that are here at one time. Other than that, there aren't really many wanderers here because they're out completing their tasks that they've been given by the level. The next colony is the waiters. These are the people who help you learn how to use the arcades and stuff like that. The last colony is called the Front Rooms Organization, and this is a really weird, mysterious outpost that not really many people know about. They lead people to glass doors to escape the backrooms, but again, it's unknown how that works. But it is known that they're there. Now, I'm sure you've all been waiting on how to enter this level, and you can enter this level by running trueend.exe on the computer from the end level. Or you can even get here by glitching through a purple glitchy wall on level 11, which that would be really easy. You'd have to be really lucky to get that one. There's also like 9 other ways to enter, but this was the coolest one. There are other ways to enter the level. but the level 11 one is pretty much the easiest, and the running the true end.exe file is also the easiest. To exit, you can complete your given tasks and be free from the backrooms by walking out the glass doors in the level, or you can fail your given tasks and be condemned to wander the backrooms for an eternity. There are other ways to exit the specific level of level 3099, but who cares about those? We're talking about how to leave the backrooms here. So yeah, that is it for the level explanation of level 3999. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the face thing. I'm still getting the kinks worked out in the editing process, so bear with me as I transition into this kind of thing. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and let me know down below any critiques or whatever you want to see. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. 2022 is going to be awesome. Hope you guys are ready. Thank you for watching. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are going to be talking about squirt guns in the backrooms. Actually, this is the first backrooms weapon I've covered on the channel. Hopefully you're ready for this. Also, this is the last pre-recorded video, so this is the last video with my face just at the beginning. From now on, it's going to be my face the entire time, along with the normal text on the side. Hopefully you enjoy it, and let's get into the video, guys. Backrooms explained, squirt blasters. I can't say the real thing because of YouTube, I guess, so Squirt Blasters it is. This is the first backrooms weapon that I'm covering, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So these things are ranged water weapons. They can be used as a very effective tool in the backrooms.
Wait, you can't say water
they can
pistol.
Be filled with any liquid using the tank that's attached to them.
Has YouTube condemned the word of water pistol? Why?
They physically look like a big super soaker thing from real life with a hose that runs from the actual weapon to the canister that you wear.
Wait, why is there? Why was there Nerf bullets on that water pistol?
But if you do
what
put
kind of
different kinds of liquid at the same time, it won't mix. Instead, it'll just create layers of those liquids, kind of like oil and water. The tank itself is also immune to any corrosive effects from any liquid you might put into it.
Nice.
So liquid paint won't erode the tank. These can fire liquid that are put into them, and they all have different effects when you fire the liquid. If you fill up the tank with almond water, it can be used as a weapon against entities that are weak to it. If you remember, some entities are really weak, and it can even unalive them if you use it. So using this thing, you can hit your target from far away and still have the same effects. This is really useful for large groups of entities that need to be taken care of quickly. You can also fill it up with cashew water, which becomes
right. Hang on. Right, basically, almond water in the backrooms, it's not as weird as it sounds. Well, it is, but it isn't at the same time. Almond water is basically, you get everything for free kind of card. Basically, if your sanity is very, very low, it refills your sanity to, like, normal. It satisfies your hunger and thirst. Yes, this liquid can do that. I don't know how, but it does. And yeah, I did not know, however, that it can harm entities.
Inside of the tank, and when it's fired, it can draw entities away from you and also hurt them pretty bad. You can also put pyroil in the tank, which, if you remember, is liquid fire salt. Now this can be used as a very effective projectile because when you fire it and it hits the target, it'll immediately catch on fire, and it never hardens in the tank or in the piping. So it's kind of like napalm, liquid fire. Of course, you can also fill it up with liquid paint.
So why hasn't Meg, I don't know what that abbreviation stands for, don't even ask me. All I know, it's like some company that, it's like the equivalent of Monarch in the Kaiju universe, basically. Yeah, so if this is a known fact, then why the fuck haven't they been using it? There would have been like many levels where that would have been helpful.
Which will just cause the usual effects on whatever you're firing it at. This is also very useful for taking out big groups of entities or big entities themselves, because liquid paint is so corrosive, and since you can fire from so far away, it's really effective. You can put other liquids in the tank as well, like memory juice or liquid silence, but these don't do anything special when fired. They just do their normal effects. However, the tank is still a great way to store large amounts of liquid, so if you just want to put a bunch of liquid solids back there and just carry it without shooting it, I mean, that's fine too. You can find a Squirt Blaster on level 31, which is the arcade level, and inside a few stores on level 33. There's also been some found in the stock room on level 40. So yeah, a Squirt Blaster, sorry, I have to keep saying that. YouTube might demonetize, I don't know. Is a weapon that can be filled with any liquid in the backrooms. And when it's fired, it can be a very effective deterrent or
even this is
lethal
YouTube. They'll copyright you for anything.
You can also use it as a way to store large amounts of liquid on your back so you don't have to carry it in bottles, I guess. I don't know. Nice. If you want more backrooms weapons explained, just let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Happy New Year's Eve, guys. I'll see you on the 2nd of January, 2022. See ya.
So, basically, so these entities can be hurt. Oh wow, I've got 62 subscribers. Mental. Oh, that's my video.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a very interesting video on the channel. This video is going to be all about where the backrooms came from. I actually said I was going to make this video a few months back at the very end of another video, so I'm a few months late, but I'm making it, and I'm pretty excited to show you these theories I have. I'm going to be showing you 5 theories on who created the backrooms, or where they came from. It's going to get pretty wacky, so hopefully stick around for the ride. I kind of want to make this a series, like the Backrooms Conspiracy series, so leave a like if you want that. Also, sorry my voice is sore. I just got off a 5-hour VC with the S&P, so let's get into it. So I already made a video explaining what the backrooms are, and I explained like the original 4chan image there as well, so I won't be doing that in this video. Instead, I'm going to be talking about some theories on who or what created the backrooms, starting with a very interesting theory from the fandom called the collision theory. This is kind of the most scientific theory that I'm going to talk about today, so I figured go ahead and get it out of the way for people that don't like science. But the collision theory pretty much says that it's possible that the backrooms is a different universe that somehow collided with our universe and meshed with it in a way where it's still accessible from our reality, but we can't see it unless we get there somehow. Because apparently in real life science, there's like a cold spot in our real universe that could be evidence of universes colliding, and that would support this theory. But in my opinion, universes colliding is kind of lame, so now we're going to get into some crazy conspiracy stuff. The next theory, which is my favorite, is called the government theory. This is a theory that I mentioned in the video a few months back, but now there's actually kind of a motive that might make sense for it. The government theory says that the backrooms are actually a project put together by the biggest world powers in order to test quantum tunneling and teleporting, which makes sense because imagine how powerful it would be to have the ability to teleport in real life. That would be crazy, and the backrooms would be a perfect testing ground for it. This theory also says that the backrooms levels themselves are actually just constructed zones or parks and sections of the real-life world that were built by private contractors, and that these levels aren't even infinite, and they're actually not even big. And the government theory says that all the creatures inside of these levels are actually failed government projects that became too dangerous to keep close to the public, so they put them inside of these zones to see how they interact with human test subjects. That sounds...
Right, if there are any people who are watching my videos that are adults, because I know there are, because I'm looking at my audience on my YouTube, on my iPad, and I found, where is it? Yeah, 25 to 34-year-olds, 66.7%. If any of you guys watching my videos are bloody government conspiracy people who believe that the government is putting trackers in everything, please leave. And this is not an excuse for saying, oh, since it's in this universe, it must be ours. Shut up. Nobody cares if you bloody believe in government conspiracies. the government isn't doing anything.
Pretty cool to me. This theory honestly doesn't even sound that crazy, considering how corrupt the governments are these days.
I mean,
So,
true.
let me know what you think about it. It's my favorite one by far. Next up is called the Cower Thesis. This theory says that the backrooms as a whole is an idea that became real because so many people believed in it. Or that the backrooms was formed because a ton of people truly believed it was real, like with all their hearts. They kind of manifested it. Things similar to this has happened before with things like the Mandela effect, which is where large amounts of people remember seeing something that never actually existed or happened, but they remember that it actually happened. So what if so many people believed in the idea of the backrooms that it literally manifested itself into an entire reality? If this is true, it would also mean that the power of human manifestation is way bigger than we expected. Next up is a really popular theory as well called the dream theory. Now, you've probably heard of this one, and this is probably one that people will actually believe in if they believe in the backrooms. They're not real, obviously, but like, let's have fun for a second. You can probably guess what it means just by the name, but I'm going to explain it anyways. This theory states that the actual backrooms is a dream, and that people who have said they've experienced it or have been there were all in comas when they experienced it. And that the backrooms is some sort of eternal nightmare that the people in comas live through. This theory also says that the information available on like the Wikidot and the fandom is all from people who've woken up from this coma but still have recurring nightmares about where they were. So when they have a nightmare, they remember it and they type it out. I mean, this theory isn't even that far-fetched though, let's be real. Just think about it. We got no idea what's happening to people.
Okay, right. That dream theory makes sense until you realise something. If somebody is in a coma, they normally tend to pass out and wake up in and if they return back from their coma, they normally tend to wake up in a hospital. How they suddenly got the thought of their them being in some like alternate reality or something would make no sense. Wait, no, hang on. Wait, no, fuck. My quote for the... Fuck. Right. Pay no attention to me. My brain just processed what the fuck.
When they're in comas. So, I don't know. So the last theory I'm going to talk about today is a theory called the collective unconscious theory, or the idealism theory. This theory uses the work of a psychiatrist named Carl Jung to explain the backrooms. Pretty much Jung says that all humans have this collective unconscious that we all share. The collective unconscious is pretty much a group of thoughts and ideas that we as humans all have, whether we know it or not.
So, does that mean that the backrooms is also a place where I can look at porn for several hours? Because this I'm down!
Some people consider the idea of the backrooms as one of these collective thoughts that we all have deep inside of our psyche. Some take it even further than this and say that the idea of liminal spaces in general are all hardwired into everyone's mind as a shared place between us all, and that the backrooms is just one of these shared liminal space thoughts that we have. This theory can get even deeper though, because it also uses the ideas that humans are only affected by the world as they perceive it. So reality is pretty much what you want it to be. And that when people go crazy or lose their minds...
Wait. If the backrooms follows that logic of reality is what you make it, does that mean I could basically summon a weapon just out of thin air and it would appear in my hand? If somebody in my audience gets transported to the backrooms, phone me and let me know how it goes.
Or fall into a deep sleep or a coma, visions of the backrooms can appear to them because they're in such a deep dream mind state that they can access these shared experiences and shared unconsciousness that we all have, and that's how they get to the backrooms. This would mean that people who claim to have experienced the backrooms and the stuff inside of it were all dreaming or having visions of the same place, since according to the theory, we all have the same backrooms concept deep inside of our minds. Nice. So yeah, that was the actual last theory I had in the script, but I do have a crazy, brutally only theory about the backrooms creation. My theory kind of revolves around the government one back from earlier in the video, except in my theory, the government isn't going after quantum tunneling effects. Instead, their goals are more sinister.
Quantum tunneling. Remember when we saw in Kane Pixel's video, First Contact and the other one, there was that doorway and there was that thing going on. I think that's what quantum tunneling. There we go.
My theory is that the backrooms were created when scientists deep inside the government accidentally tapped into the multiple dimensions or multiple realities that the backrooms are. They accidentally accessed it somehow. And I think when these scientists told the government officials this, they started using it as a sort of prison for people who know too much, or people who see things they shouldn't see. For instance, this could explain all the disappearances in national parks that don't go investigated by the FBI because there's not enough information, even though thousands of people go disappearing in these parks. Maybe those people ran across something they shouldn't have saw, and the government took them to the back rooms. I don't know. It's kind of like a mass prison that's off-world, and no one knows about it. Kind of creepy to think about, right? But again, just my theory. None of it's real anyway. We're just having fun here. So yeah, you probably think I'm crazy, but this stuff sounds cool to me. So, hopefully you enjoyed it. I want to make this a series because I love conspiracy type stuff, and especially about the back rooms. It's interesting to me. I think it's a really crazy to think about. So let me know down below if you want that. Also, thank you so much for the support, guys. We just hit 70,000 subscribers. What? I literally cannot believe that number. We're on the road to 100K. This is crazy. The goal back in December was to hit 100K by my birthday in May.
Brugly, trust me, mate. 164K views. Sorry, hang on. I was looking at the wrong. Hang on. No, yeah. I never thought I would hit 62 subscribers. I found out. Whoever the 62nd subscriber is, thank you, sir. You have made my day. No, seriously. I was literally on the floor earlier crying because the reason I was crying is not needed to be known. Just know I was fucking crying.
But we're on track to hit it even sooner than that, and I'm so grateful and appreciative to all of you for your support. Thank you to my patrons and my channel members. Thank you so much for everything you guys do for me. Go join the Brugly SMP. The IP will be down below in the description. We're having a ton of fun on there. It's a great time. I get to talk to you guys in the VC. It's awesome.
Oh, I'm a piercing
also,
stop.
Go check out my second channel, Toogly, for the content from the SMP. I also upload tier lists and gaming stuff over there as well. Thank you for watching and supporting me, and I will see you later.
Donut! Right, the longest video on this channel. Oh, hang on.
Manila Room, which is a medium-sized square room.
Hang on.
Video. Level 0, aka the Tutorial Zone, is the first level in the backrooms. It's classified as a Class 1, so it's safe and secure and has a minimal entity count, even though there are no known entities here. This level is the one that most people no-clip into as soon as they land in the backrooms. You all know what the level looks like, and you've probably heard it a million times, but it's Bergmas, and I'm gonna say it all again. Level 0 is a network of rooms that all have this famous backrooms wallpaper. You know what it is? It's that yellow, dingy-looking thing. It's nasty, really. The carpet here is damp, and it smells like it, too. And there's this dingy fluorescent lighting all over that's flickering in some places, and it's also emitting this buzzing noise from the lights. The buzzing noise would already drive me to insanity. The buzzing on this level is much louder than normal fluorescent lights from real life, and it's unknown why it's so loud. It's almost like it's being loud just to be annoying. I mentioned it, but the carpet here is moist, and it's also unknown what liquid is making it moist, but what is known is that it's not safe to drink. Obviously. Who's gonna be drinking carpet juice, bro? What? An important thing to remember when...
I'll tell you who would drink carpet juice. Texas, because he's a fucking wanker. And yes, Texas, if you're watching it, what are you gonna do? Fucking sue me, mate.
Talking about level 0.
And yes, me and Texas had a fucking argument about me starting a fight even though he started
is
it.
That the space there is non-linear. This means that you could walk in a quote-unquote straight line and end up right back where you started. And if you try to go back the way you came, you could end up in a completely different set of rooms. So this makes the level quite disoriented and confusing, especially since the people that are here just landed in, and couple that with the fact that compasses and GPSs don't work,
Obviously.
and you've got a recipe for disaster. Also, radio communications are really disoriented and scrambled, so it makes it pointless to even try to connect with radios. Some people consider level 0 as the scariest level in the backrooms because of the initial shock factor you get from being completely alone and in a literal alternate dimension, which I can see. Even though there's no entities here, it's still one of the most terrifying. An interesting fact is that even though level 0 is the main way to enter the backrooms, there's never been any reports of wanderers interacting with each other in this level. And there's also been no corpses ever found here, but it's assumed that there's a ton of them, because there's no way every single person
I think we got a grammatical area.
People attempts to enter level 0 from a different level. If they do, they'll be split up, and they won't even be able to meet back up until
Me and the boys go discuss how to get into the back room. Me and the boys successfully get into the back room. 5 seconds later, wait, where is everyone? Me and the boys realizing we went into the wrong back rooms. Oh shit!
they leave the level. So it's literally like the level puts you in solitary confinement on purpose. Obviously,
when you're playing
the
multiplayer and you
solitude
get
and the
kicked
weird
for idle.
non-linear structure makes people's minds play tricks on them. It's a given that hallucinations are common on this level, specifically the
Ha! Little did you know, I always have hallucinations. Wait, where the fuck am I? Oh, fuck. See, like I said,
hallucination of doors or stairs or hearing humans talking, or you can hallucinate random movement in the corner of your eyes and your peripheral vision, and sometimes the humming of the lights can be so loud that you can hallucinate going deaf, or you can just hear random insects chittering. And yeah, couple all those hallucinations with being completely alone and isolated in a random space that seems endless, and you might go crazy. Like I said earlier, there are no known entities here, and you can't even run into another wanderer. So if you think you hear something, you don't. You're just going crazy. To enter level 0, you have to no-clip from the reality of Earth. Simple as that. To exit level 0, there are a few more ways. The main way is you can learn to no-clip through a wall or floor by practicing yourself. And this will put you on the next level, which is level 1. But there's also a slight chance that if you walk far enough in any direction, that you'll end up in a place called the Manila Room, which is a medium-sized square room that appears to have literally no relationship with the other levels. It seems completely random. This room has small wooden chairs inside, and it gives off just a weird vibe. But something good about the Manila Room is that wanderers can meet up here and they can actually see each other. Unlike in the main part of level 0 where you can't meet anybody. There's also documents from Meg that are available in the Manila Room that people can read up on, and it'll tell them how to survive the backrooms and how to travel from level to level. And most importantly, the papers will teach you how to no-clip. Thanks, Meg. So the explanation I just gave is for the newer, revised version of level 0 from the Wikidot. The first version of level 0 doesn't exist anymore, obviously, because it was archived. There are several key differences in the official version that we have now and the archive version, so I thought I'd go over some of the differences here. In the official version, there are just an infinite labyrinth of yellow rooms everywhere, with an endless length of hallways and segments, stuff like that. But in the archives version, there was a little bit more to it. Like, there were electrical outlets on the wall, and there were surveillance cameras on the ceiling, and instead of it only being yellow walls, there were occasional red rooms that you could walk in, and occasional pitch black hallways you could walk in as well. But other than that, they were pretty much the same. They still had the flickering lights, the moist carpet, and the mostly yellow walls. The archive version also had several outposts and entities that are not in the official version, because if you remember what I just said a couple minutes ago, level 0 now has no entities and no outposts. And these outposts and entities are now moved to level 1, which is a pretty good change in my opinion. I think it makes it creepier, which you'll see those outposts in tomorrow's video, which will be on level 1. Ha! A cliffhanger. Get destroyed. Level 1 of the backrooms is considered a class 1 area because of these reasons that I always say, so I'm just going to show you. The level looks like a huge warehouse that has concrete floors and walls, and there's even like exposed rebar everywhere. Additionally, there's some fog that hangs really low to the ground on this level, and it comes from an unknown source. Nice. So the fog causes condensation to happen, which
So
makes
basically it's a
puddles form on
parking
the
lot
ground.
equivalent.
So unlike level 0, this level has a constant supply of water that you can actually drink, and electricity that doesn't make a humming noise. This makes level 1 a welcome sight for weary travelers. This level can get really expansive though. It's got staircases and elevators and secluded rooms and winding hallways all throughout, so try your best not to get lost. This level produces random crates with supplies that seem to appear and disappear at random. These crates can contain food and almond water, and sometimes they even have batteries, tarps, clothes, medical equipment, and weaponry. Nice. But sometimes the boxes have really dumb stuff, like random car parts or boxes of crayons, or even live mice. What?
Right. My theory on... Right. The random stuff is actually the most useful. Right, so you know how whenever you're playing like an online game and you'll open a like the equivalent of getting free loot by opening something, it will give you like the most useless random shit, and then you'll be playing the game a couple of months later and you'll be going like, damn, I wish I had or whatever it is that it gave you randomly that looked useless at the time. That is the backrooms equivalent of saying just because it looks useless doesn't mean it is. Look, the live mice, even that's most probably useful
Some crates
somehow.
also have loose change or human hair, so that's nice, I guess.
That's
These crates
not.
should be approached
That
with
isn't
caution,
helpful.
since what's inside of them is random, but you definitely should approach them just in case there's good stuff, obviously. A weird quirk about this level is that there are strange, crude drawings and paintings of an unknown origin that appear on the walls and floors of the level. They sometimes change how they look, and they sometimes also disappear when you're not looking at them. Just like level 0, sometimes level 1 can experience light flickering. When this happens, supplies often vanish when the lights flash off, and entities also spawn then. These creatures tend to avoid areas with lights, so just hang around a bright spot, and you should be good. Also, since the objects disappear randomly, it's been found that if you actually hold onto the objects, then they don't disappear. They seem to only disappear when they're just laying by themselves. An area called the Hub is also located on level 1. It's a long tunnel that has doors to different levels on it. Most of the time there are wanderers here, and it's actually a pretty popular area. Level 1 is home to the first main Uec Base, which, if you remember from my level 0 explained video, used to be in the archived version of level 0, but it got moved to level 1. I think it's for the better. The base is named Base Alpha, and it houses about half of all of the Meg teams. They also take wanderers in as well. The base is located near an entrance to the level, and is heavily guarded in order to ward off creatures, obviously. The next outpost is called the Bntg's Trader's Keep. The Bntg stands for Backrooms National Trade Group, which I've already made a video about them and Meg, so links below if you want to check that out. The place is called Trader's Keep, and it's a city-like complex that has a semi-normal social infrastructure. There are about 415 people who live here constantly, and they keep a friendly relationship with Meg. And this place is one of the main supply hubs for wanderers in the entire Backrooms, and it's a nice place to take refuge and experience some sort of normalcy. It's located in the storage hall section of level 1. The last outpost or place is called Tom's Diner. Again, if you remember my level 0 explained video from yesterday, Tom's Diner used to be on level 0, now it's here. The diner is run by Tom, obviously, who was a chef in real life before he no-clipped into the backrooms. He has plenty of food in storage, and he gets supplies from the Bntg every few months so he can stay stocked. Tom's Diner is a common place for social activities and a pretty fun time overall, and a lot of people use this area as like a rendezvous point. It's strangely wholesome, bro, not even gonna lie. There are a ton of ways to enter level 1, but the most obvious one is to come from level 0 by no-clipping. But if you're not a level 0, you could climb a tree on level 11.1, or you could complete the King's Trial on level 94. Or sometimes there's just doors labeled level 1 scattered throughout the backrooms. You can walk through one of those doors and you'll end up here.
Oh.
Level 2 is the third level of the backrooms, and it's classified as a class 2 survival difficulty because it's pretty unsafe, honestly. And this is the last of the levels that you could be sent to when you first enter the backrooms. The majority of the people land in level 0, and some land in level 1. In some rare cases, you can land in level 2, and if you do, your luck is terrible. Like, you have the worst luck ever. Level 2's layout is pretty much an infinite labyrinth of low-light, concrete maintenance tunnels that go on for hundreds of thousands of miles.
Yeah,
The
that is
walls in the
really
hallway
unlucky.
are all lined with pipes, and sometimes there are even air ducts in the ceiling and on the walls. And these air ducts typically have a thick black liquid that comes out of them, and it's unknown what this is. Scattered around these halls are random doors, and they're all over the place. Some of the doors are locked, and some of them are open, but the ones that are open mostly lead nowhere, except sometimes there's a rare exit. We'll talk about that later. These rooms that dead end normally have shelves with seemingly random objects on them, ranging from pieces of scrap metal to computers, which is weird. The hallways in this level are normally a pretty comfortable temperature until you get to some of the segments where it can get up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, or 43 degrees Celsius. These hot areas are also where machine noises are really loud too, so just avoid them. The entities located on this level are honestly some of the worst ones possible. Crawlers crawl through the air vents, smilers hide in the shadows. There's also child facelings, clumps, hounds, death moths, skin stealers, and this guy. These creatures lurk in the hallways constantly, so it's probably best to just avoid them at all costs. Interestingly enough, there are a couple bases and outposts here, and the first one is called the Survivors, which consists of about 29 people who literally just explore this level. It's kind of lame, but whatever. The leader of this ragtag group is named Austin, and they're pretty friendly and they're willing to trade with wanderers, so I guess that's nice. This group was actually the first group ever to discover what wretches were, so thank you, I guess. The next outpost is called Office Space EL3A. This area is controlled by the Bntg, or the Backrooms National Trade Group, and it houses about 30 people, give or take a few. There's no information on what goes on there, so I can only assume backrooms trading happens. Since that's the name of the Bntg, I don't know. To enter level 2, you can wander around level 1 until you find the entrance, or you can access it from the hub.
Or the motorway tunnel, as I like to call it.
Like I said earlier, level 2 can be accessed directly from reality, but it would definitely be the worst one out of the first 3 levels to land in, but it still might happen. To exit level 2, you can go through an unlocked door and it might lead somewhere to the next level, or sometimes back to level 1 even. The most common exit is this huge multicolored door that's somewhere on the level, and that leads to level 283. And if some reason you want to go to a sub-level, which is level 2.1, you can just no-clip through the floor or the wall in one of those extremely hot areas I was talking about, and it'll just stick you in the sub-level. I don't think I would do that, but whatever you want, man. So to summarize, level 2 is a huge expanse of maintenance tunnels with pipes on the walls and random locked or unlocked doors everywhere. There are a ton of dangerous entities here, and it can get really hot in some of the halls. This level to me is like the first real experience with entities you get, so be warned. Level 3 of the backroom.
Right, here's what I'm thinking. Spawn in level 0 if you're lucky. Try to find level 1. Try and find some weaponry in those crates that randomly appear. Go to one of the outposts. Ask a group of people if they want to help you with something. Go to level 2 and then basically just kill any entities in there. Well, if you're lucky enough, in those crates there's those the water pistols, as British people like to say, and literally just lock and load with fucking just with a group of people with water pistols, and you go like, "Come at me!"
Is classified as class 4, so it's unsafe and unsecure, and it has a medium entity count. This is actually the first real test for people who are new to the backrooms. Level 2 was kind of a warm-up level for this one, because level 3 consists of a ton of looping dark hallways that behave kind of like the ones from level 0, but not to the full extent. Each of the hallways juts off into random segmented rooms, and there's no pattern to this level whatsoever, it's all random. On top of the randomness of the hallways, there's also extremely loud machinery noises that echo through the halls, which could be disorienting, and personally, it would drive me insane. The hallways themselves are really skinny and short, and really, really skinny in some places, and sometimes people have to crawl through them. And if you're tall, you have to bend over like the entire time. But good thing I'm 5'10". The walls are made of dusty bricks.
Well, you're tall as fuck.
Pipes that run along them, and the floor is made of a hard gray tile. The ceilings are made out of metal, which makes the echo way worse. Interestingly, this level is actually one of the biggest levels in the backrooms. Its estimated size is around 350 million miles, which is massive. This means it's really unlikely to run into any wanderers here, so it's recommended that when you come here, you be prepared to fight entities alone, since you'll probably not meet any help. Something that makes this level unique is that sometimes there's these prison cell bars that cut off entire sections of hallways. Meg has tried to break past these bars to explore further, but they literally cannot break it. They've also tried to break the walls down that are around the bars, but they can't break those either. Areas with these prison bars have been recorded as the creepiest places in the entire level. Some wanderers say that there's a heightened sense of fear when you're around them. Some have even said that they get extreme discomfort. by just approaching them. Most people get the feeling that they're being watched when they're near these prison bars, and some have claimed to see an unknown figure lurking behind the bars. Creepy.
Okay.
Just like
Yeah,
yesterday's level, which is level 2, this level's halls have a black sludge liquid that flows through the pipes. This sludge is really toxic, and it can literally cause damage to your brain if you even breathe it in, and if you touch it, you'll get third-degree burns. So how about we just avoid the black sludge, huh? Meg still has no idea what the sludge is or why it flows through the pipes, so nice. Every once in a while on this level, there's a random electrical room with a single generator inside, as well as random electronics like computers or loose wires, and there's even security monitors here too. The rooms are rare though, and no one knows why they exist. As I said earlier, this level's pretty dangerous, but it's also really rewarding at the same time. The level has loads of almond water, false outlets, fire salt, royal rations, squirt guns, and many other resources too. There are tools and weapons like knives, lighters, and bolt cutters, and flashlights that are just laying around. On top of these resources, Level 3 is also a level with the strongest Wi-Fi signal in the entire backrooms. So you can get stocked up on food, weapons, and Wi-Fi. Sounds like a pretty nice level to me. As you can expect,
Excuse me, wait,
all
what?
the machinery and these small enclosed spaces make this level pretty warm, but it's still bearable. The temperature ranges from 66 degrees to 93 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18 degrees to 33 degrees Celsius, for most of the level. But in some segments, temperatures of over 135 degrees have been recorded. So just avoid those. The machines on this level operate completely on their own, but they're also really dangerous sometimes because they'll just blow up and pieces of them will fly off and hit you. If you see one making too much noise, just don't go near it. Level 3 has tons of dangerous entities and creatures, and you're pretty much gonna have to fight off loads of them. There's hounds, facelings, wretches, death moths, skin stealers, clumps, and smilers lurking everywhere, specifically in the shadows. There are also sections infested with crawler fungus and the disease, which are both mold-like entities. The entities on this level behave more aggressively than on other levels, and they actively seek out to attack bases and outposts. Some smaller groups have trouble fending them off, but the big bases don't. Speaking of big bases, the Meg Base Gamma is located here, and it's the third most important Meg Base. There's around 300 people who live here, and they take wanderers and they're open to trade. The base is attacked by entity hordes often, but since it's so big, they can pretty much defend themselves. The next outpost is called the Bntg Storage Facility. Bntg is Backrooms National Trade Group, for those who don't know, and this is the biggest trade center for the Bntg. The outpost will trade with you, but they're known for having insanely high rates, losers, and there's around 150 people that live here. The third outpost is called the Followers of Jerry Blue Salvation, and there are only 15 members here, and they typically just are here to collect the resources from this level. Jerry's that one bird I talked about a while back. This group is hostile for those who don't listen to what Jerry says, and this makes them an unpredictable threat. The Masked Maidens might also have a base here, but it's unconfirmed, and it's kind of just a rumor that exists. The last base here is called Uec Base Scylla. Uec stands for Unbound. This outpost has an unknown number of members, and it's just here to collect the resources, and it's said to avoid them at all costs because they're dangerous and unpredictable. To enter level 3, you can go through one of those unlocked doors on level 2, or you can take an elevator on level 4 or 5. The metro is also a pretty reliable way to get here. To exit level 3, take an elevator, which will take you to level 4 or 5, or you can open a random wooden door, which will take you to level 31. Nice. So to summarize, level 3 is a huge level of small hallways with brick walls, metal ceilings, and tile floors. There's machinery constantly making noise, and a black sludge that flows through the pipes that can literally kill you if you inhale it. There's also a ton of dangerous creatures here, but at the same time it's kind of worth coming here because of how rich this level is in resources. I rate this level about 7 out of 10 on the brutally scale, because I come here just for all the stuff you can get. Level 4, aka the Abandoned Office, is classified as a Class 1 survival difficulty, and is safe, secure, and has minimal entities. Only 2. This level is mainly known for being the main source of almond water in the backrooms. Nice. It physically looks like an entire empty office building with stairwells and hallways and stuff like that, and it has pretty much no furniture. There are windows here, but they're mainly blacked out, and the ones that look normal, like there's light coming through them, are window traps. So don't go near them. Like I said earlier, there are only 2 entities that have been seen here, and those are hounds and dullers, but one person did claim they saw a smiler, so they might be here too. Due to there not being many entities here, and there's also an abundance of almond water, this means there's tons of people here, pretty much all the time. The almond water is in coolers, vending machines, and water fountains all over the level, and it never seems to run out. How convenient. Another convenient thing about level 4 is that it's very easy to enter and exit, but more on that in a second. Level 4 is considered one of the best places in the entire backrooms to meet up with other wanderers and to gather supplies, and it's definitely a safe spot to rest. There are several outposts here, but most notably, Meg Base Omega is here, which is the second main Meg base. This base is heavily guarded and is located near an exit of this level. The next outpost is called Amor Incrementum. If the name didn't give it away, this group is a cult. A cult who worships agriculture. It's one of the smallest documented groups in the backrooms, as it only has 10 members. And the plants they worship and grow aren't even plants, they're mold, so I don't know what's up with them. The last group here is called the TBD, or To Be Determined, which is a group of about 6 people who literally just hoard the resources on this level.
Right, so the group that are, well, the cult group of this level, I do not trust cults. I don't care whether you're a good cult or whether you're one of those psychologically dim-witted cults. If you're a cult, I'm shooting you. I'm throwing 50 cal bullets at you.
Themselves, and they're extremely hostile. They do trade, but when they trade, it's for really weird objects that don't even do anything, so they're just being weird. To enter this level, you can pick from a variety of ways, but the most common way is no clipping from the hub, or you can take an elevator from level 3. To leave level 4, all you have to do is walk through an office-style stairway. There's tons of them on the level.
Oh.
Or you can take an elevator, and both of those exits will put you on level 5 or 6. Easy enough. So to quickly summarize, level 4 is the home of infinite almond water, and is relatively safe to just chill at and meet new people. Yeah, that's literally it. Level 5, aka Terror Hotel, is classified as a Class 2 survival difficulty. It's unsafe and unsecure, and it has a low entity count. And this level is pretty much an infinite hotel complex with a ton of rooms and hallways that are scattered throughout the level. The architecture of the level looks like a hotel that's similar to a hotel building from the mid-1930s, and the furniture in the level seems to be from the early 1920s. Nice. There are 3 parts of this level that are fully accessible, and those are the main hall, the Beverly Rooms, and the boiler room, but more on those later. The walls all throughout this hotel are covered in decorations from the early 1900s, and there's literally like no dirt and dust at all, which is cool because old stuff tends to get dusty. The level is clean because it seems to be able to clean itself somehow. If a spot does get dirty or dusty, the level will just automatically clean the spot and it'll go back to normal. Nice. The cleanliness of the floors and the pristineness of the decorations causes this level to give off a really weird vibe. The ambient sound on this level is smooth jazz music that's quietly playing from vintage record players, and these record players are hooked up to this extremely old speaker system.
As long as they're playing like AC/DC, any of the AC/DC songs and Country Roads Take Me Home, then I'll be fine. As long as it's playing like that, I do not care. Although that's technically not jazz, half of those songs. I don't care as long as they're playing those songs, I'm alright.
And their speakers running down the hallways. And interestingly enough, this music can actually be changed. Like the record can be changed. It's unknown who changes it or how it's changed. It just does it sometimes. Level 5 is actually pretty well known for these weird noises that people hear on the level. Sometimes they hear party chatter, you know, like the ambient sounds of a party, happening on the other side of walls, or whispering noises behind them. And people have even claimed that their shoulder has been tapped.
Oh, no,
Sounds like it's haunted to me. The level also has a ton of paintings where the characters' eyes seem to always be looking at you, which is creepy as it is, but the fact that there's so many of them, well, that makes it creepier. Now it's time to get into the 3 parts of the level, starting with the main hall. As the name suggests, this is the most common area of the level that you can explore. The walls are this retro red color with that fancy looking wallpaper all over them. And the floors range from dark wood floors to red and gold carpet floors. The hallways here have old furniture like shelving and chairs on each side of them. And on the walls in the hallways, there's these old looking candle holders. Now some of the candles are real, but some of them are actually electric lamps that aren't real. There's no fire, it's just electric. And these lamps make a buzzing noise, almost exactly like the buzzing noise from level 0, which is weird. The majority of the rooms in the main hall are empty and locked, but some of the rooms are unlocked, and they end up being bedrooms that are fully furnished, and you can actually rest there. Some of the doors also lock and unlock randomly, so it's not known which ones are unlocked at which times. The main hall also has a bunch of elevators that range from really old designed elevators to really new looking elevators, and you can access a ton of different levels from these elevators, so it's kind of like a miniature hub, if you will. The next part of the level is called the Beverly Rooms, or the Eternal Ballroom.
Wow.
This is exactly how it sounds too. It's just a huge room with a bunch of doors on all sides. There's one table in the very center of the room, and it's got some drinks on it, and an unfinished game of Mahjong. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I have no idea what that is. People have tried to finish this game, but they can't for some reason, and they feel like they're being forced to stay away from it. This area is the main hub of level 5, and you can access...
Well, level 5 back room. Prepare to meet your worst enemy, because I will get on that table, sit my ass down, and figure out the rules. And now my controller disconnected for some stupid ass reason.
The other parts of the level from this part, because there's like 1,000 doors in this area, and they all lead to the different parts of the level. Some take you to the main hall area, and some take you to the boiler room. Speaking of the boiler room, this is the last area that's easily accessible of level 5. And it's pretty much a big cluttered area with a ton of machinery all over the place. There's these huge pipes that run across the walls and through the air, and this can make the area pretty claustrophobic actually. Almond water seems to run through these pipes, and it flows at such a high pressure that the pipes burst sometimes and leak. Nice. It's also pretty hot down there with all the machinery.
Sorry,
and
everyone.
since it's literally a boiler room, I mean, you'd expect it to be hot, right? And there's steam floating throughout the area constantly. Some wanderers have actually reported whispering from inside the furnaces down there. So that's not creepy at all. Now there are some reports of a 4th area called the lobby rooms on level 5, but no one knows exactly how to get there because people who have actually been there say, quote, "You're not supposed to know," end quote, when they're asked where it is. And after just a few weeks of being in this supposed lobby room, the wanderer loses all memories of it. The only reason the accounts are even written down is because they were quickly reported right after they got sent there. So Meg is currently investigating this room and why it makes you forget its existence, because that's sus. Normal entities are not common on this level, but death moths are a pretty common creature. There's also 4 outposts here, the biggest one being Meg Base Housekeeping. This base is literally just here to study the level and to help guide people through it. You know, typical Meg stuff. The next outpost is called the Homely Hotel, and they actually run a hotel service here. They're located in the main hall area, and they even have signs that point to where they're at. They have applications that wanderers can fill out if they want to stay in the hotel rooms, and they've even got their own food service and room service. What? Nice! The next outpost is called the Originals. This outpost is a group of people that live in one of the Beverly rooms, and only people who entered the backrooms from the year 1300 to 1940 can be a part of this group. Bunch of old people, bro. They don't let anyone else join. There's about 31 people who live there, and some of them are really famous, actually, like Amelia Earhart. Nice. The last group is called the Lost Hall.
Excuse me, how in the Jesus? No, you don't just get to say her name and then just casually... How did she get here? I know it's all like myth and legacy, but she went over the Bermuda Triangle and she disappeared. Are you telling me that somehow, if that in this universe it did happen, she somehow went through the Bermuda Triangle, landed down somewhere, and then clicked through reality? What in the fuck? Also, this question still hasn't been answered. Do you age while you're in the back rooms, or do you not age, or not age per the norm, like you age slower?
Society. This outpost was made by an unknown species of entity, and there's no known information about the entity at all, or how many even live there. But they live in areas with libraries, and they're said to have a huge amount of knowledge about the backrooms, and specifically this level. They also designed maps and books and stuff that are extremely helpful to a wanderer. Nice. To enter this level, you can go down an old stairway on level 4, or you can...
Oh, an entity that isn't going to try and eat my face off. Thank God.
Take an elevator from level 3. And to exit this level, you can just go back up the stairway from level 4, or re-enter the elevator from level 3. Or you can exit by one of those thousands of doors in this level, because they can sometimes lead to other places. So to summarize, this level is a huge retro hotel with tons of rooms and segments, and a cult of old famous people who live here, and a species of unknown entity that live here and draw maps. There's a hotel service with all the amenities of a real hotel, and there's a Meg base. You know, just your typical level. Nice. Level 6 is classified as class pending, so it's got an unknown safety, and the level is completely unsecured. There's also an unknown number of entities, or there might be no entities, because no one knows. Pretty much nothing besides the floors and the walls are even known about this level. The level is made up of a bunch of hallways with floors that are made out of bricks and walls that are made out of metal, and the entire level is 100% completely and utterly dark, and there's literally no way to make it brighter. Flashlights and fire, everything else that can make light doesn't even work here. And since it's so dark, it's unknown how big the level is. It could be infinite. We don't know. It's also impossible to see other wanderers here simply because there's no light, and no matter how open your eyes are, you literally can't see anything without light. So you could just walk right past someone and not even see them. There's been some reported sightings of smilers, but the main theory on that is that they're just hallucinations because people make things up when they're deprived of sight. I don't know. I'd see stuff too if I was completely sensory deprived. This level has been known to influence people's grasps on reality. Some people get the symptoms of paranoia and extreme derealization. Even though the level is dangerous, they still feel vulnerable and scared. Just the fact that it's so dark makes a person go crazy. Even the best explorers say that this level is one of the most dangerous ones they've explored, and a large portion of the people who go here never come out. Nice. There are no bases here, obviously, and the level can only be entered through the boiler room from level 5, which I covered in yesterday's video, link below. To exit this level, you have a small chance of just wandering deep enough into it and being sent to level 7, or you can just randomly bump into a wall and no clip out of it. And in some really rare scenarios, there's a random door that you could just walk through. So yeah, level 6 is a pitch black level where the lights don't work and you go crazy. Level 7...
Little did everyone know that I am crazy.
Is classified as class 4 and is unsafe and unsecure and has a medium entity count. I wonder if you guys ever get tired of hearing me say that. You probably do. This level is a very difficult level to get through and is said to be a, quote, significant obstacle to the exploration of level 8 and further on. Nice. Not much is known about level 7 and not too many people have even explored it. But what is known is that the level is made up of 2 distinct areas. The first area is called the entrance area, and the second area is called the main area. Really creative names there. The main area is pretty much a huge expanse of water, similar to the ocean in real life, except this goes straight down to get to the different parts of the ocean. And there's a bunch of segments you can pass through, but we'll get onto that stuff later. This level doesn't have any fixed light sources at all, and there's no visible sun, and the only fixed light source is in the entrance area, and there's just a lingering dim light to the entire level. Some of the water in the main area of level 7 is extremely cold, and has been compared to touching liquid nitrogen, which means you probably shouldn't stay in it for too long, obviously. Now I'm going to talk about the 2 different areas, starting with the entrance area. This is the only known entrance to level 7, and it's a fully furnished room with a bookcase, a coffee table, and a lone chair, and one single ceiling light. A quirk about this level and this room is that it's actually rotated horizontally, but the gravity keeps your feet on the floor somehow. It's also important to note that this entrance area and the main area have different gravitational pulls, so the gravity works different in this area than it does when you're in the water. Once you get into this entrance area, you'll start to feel like you're being pulled down to the water, which is below you. There's actually a hole in the floor that looks down at the water, and the gravity here is much stronger than on Earth, so that's going to be a shock. And this also means it's really hard to float on top of the water since you're constantly being pulled down. And the next part of the level is obviously the main area, which is seemingly an infinite stretch of ocean that goes out in all directions. And you get to this part of the level, like I said earlier, by being pulled from the entrance room down into the water. The entrance room is above the water, about 4.5 meters to be exact, so you drop down into this water when you get here. Nice. Now, there are several islands in the water that are made up of an unknown rock. These are located about 2 kilometers from the entrance. They've got nothing on them except one, which we'll talk about later. But they're really isolated, and I don't know why you would stay there. The ocean part of level 7 is pretty much completely unexplored, and is pretty empty for the first 1.2 kilometers down. And this area is called the daylight zone. Since it's the brightest area, you can actually see underwater. You see what you're doing. But the further you go down from the entrance into the water, the more the light decreases and the more weird stuff you'll start to see. After you pass that initial 1.2 kilometers, you'll get to an area called the Twilight Zone. This zone's water is full of bones and scrap metal. Even some full skeletons, which are pretty much humans always. These skeletons are from humans, but they have weird things wrong with them, like elongated jaws or really sharp teeth, or no eye sockets, just like really weird stuff. There are also skeletons of massive fish floating around here. These skeletons can get up to 20 meters or 65 feet long. That's really long. This point is when the water pressure starts to get stronger. It won't break your bones or anything, but you'll be able to notice it. After the Twilight Zone, the next zone is called the Midnight Zone, and this area is about 6 kilometers down from the entrance. And there's pretty much only humanoid skeletons here. Like, that's literally all there is, just a bunch of bodies floating around. It's like a big graveyard. There's also been some reports of the giant fish skeletons here too, and they've been described by wanderers as, quote, incomprehensible in size. Nice. Now there's only one more area of the ocean past the Midnight Zone, and it's referred to as the Abyss. This area has been deemed too dangerous to explore, and the record for the longest person exploring it was 1 minute and 45 seconds. Nice. The Abyss seems to have huge piles of rocks and tar that are always bubbling, and we don't know why, but it's weird. There's also a bunch of humanoid skeletons here as well, and other than that, there's not much known about what goes on down there. But there is a rumored entrance to level 8 through an underwater cave, but this isn't officially confirmed.
Oh,
if you know anything about...
Hang on. Interesting fact about our ocean. Did you guys know that there can be an underwater ocean in the ocean? Now, let me explain. So, I can't remember whereabouts, but if you go to a certain part of the ocean, no shit, you can go to like a seabed, and then you'll see like some fog under the water covering it, like some hole. Basically, that's like an underwater ocean. But if you go in there, you're basically going to kill yourself because there is harmful gas in there somehow. Because creatures have gone in there, scientists have literally seen animals swim into it and they literally die. I'm not sure. I remember reading a bit about it, watching like a minute-long thing about this, and I completely forgot
the
like
backrooms,
everything
you'll
else.
know that there's only one entity on level 7, and it's known as the Thing on level 7. It's apparently ridded the waters of any other life, and it's an extreme threat. It's unnaturally fast and strong, and it can detect things from really far away. It can sense, track, and eviscerate a victim within seconds. Nice. So if you want to explore this level, you're going to need to bring some kind of bait to throw away from your body if it starts chasing you. The full depth of level 7 isn't fully known, but it can be assumed that it goes insanely deeply, obviously. And there's actually been fragments of synthetic fiber that have been collected from the water, revealing that the floor of the level, at the bottom of the ocean, is made out of carpet. What? That's weird. Now, I did hint at a base being here earlier on one of those islands, and there's only one base, and it's called Fort Surrender, and it's located on the closest island to the entrance of the level. There's anywhere from 4 to 9 people who live here, and they live in shacks made out of random metal scraps. They apparently worship the Thing on level 7, and they don't trade, and they're hostile. Weird. To enter level 7, you have to go down the staircase from level 6, which will put you directly in the entrance room of this level. Then you'll eventually fall into the waters. There's actually a rumor floating around that you can come back to level 7 from level 8 through a puddle. I don't know why you would want to, but that's a rumor. To exit, you have to find that cave entrance underwater. It's approximately 7 kilometers down, and pretty hard to find. So to summarize, level 7 is a huge body of water that goes down extremely deep and is split up into a bunch of zones, each of which have different things floating in them, like skeletons of humans and fish. The gravity also constantly pulls you down the entire time, so if you want to stay on top, well, it's going to be really hard. Oh yeah, and there's the Thing on level 7 that will chase you down to the ends of the earth to get you. So, nice. Level 8, which is classified as Class 5, unsafe, unsecure, and is infested with creatures. This level is an infinite cave system with caverns and chasms and cliffs everywhere. It's very damp, and there's almond water that runs down the walls and drips from the ceiling, and there are stalactites and stalagmites as well. The sound echoes really loudly on this level, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Like, it can alert you that a creature is near, or it can make you more noticeable to the creatures there. And there's no natural light on this level, just there's these random spots in the cave walls that emit like a really soft bluish white light. Natural vegetation is really rare on this level, but in some spots there are vines and bushes, and sometimes there are pools of standing almond water. However, this almond water isn't safe to drink because there's an excess amount of minerals in it. There are also some pools filled with a tar-like substance that if you walk in, hands covered with tar will reach out of it and attempt to grab you and drag you to your demise. That's creepy. So for any miners watching, there are actually gold and iron ore deposits on this level, so don't forget to bring the pickaxe. The creatures here are very dangerous and are typically ones like smilers, skin stealers, wretches, facelings, hounds, death rats, clumps, reviooks, and wranglers, but there are also some more not so common creatures like camo crawlers, transporters, blossoming eyes, and watchers. And some of those creatures will be in my next Backrooms Creatures video, so I won't get into their description here.
Right. Remember what this guy said in a previous video. You can get weapons, aka water pistol. Lock and load with the water in this level. It might do extra amount of damage as it's got extra minerals. I'm not sure, and quote me, it's possible.
Level 8 also has its own creature as well.
Oh, spiders! No!
And these are huge spiders that are really poisonous, so that's not fun at all. There's actually an outpost here, and it's called the Meg Cave Raiders. It's got 54 members right now, and there actually used to be another town here called the town of Cavergost, or something like that. It had an unknown humanoid species that populated it, and there were 78 members. They lived deep in this remote area of the level. They had crude weapons that were made from like an unknown ore, and they weren't really welcoming to humans, but their leader was. However, this civilization just seemingly disappeared without a trace, leaving its outpost walls empty. To enter this level, just find a cave entrance on levels.
They most probably got killed by the giant spiders! Although, wait, no, hang on. What do spiders do? Well, if these spiders are like tarantula types where they basically can't build a web because they're too fucking fat and heavy, maybe they're more like active hunters when they will actively seek you out. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out possibly what could have happened to this group. Or maybe they just moved to a different level. Who knows? We won't... Who knows? No one really.
7, and you can exit by randomly falling to the floor to get taken to level 9. There are other exits as well, but they aren't really advised. But this one is a really scary level just because, more so its physical layout, it's just an infinite dark cave with caverns and dangerous creatures everywhere. Like, that's terrifying to me, especially since I'm not a big fan of heights. Level 9, aka the Suburbs, is classified as Class 5, unsafe, unsecure, and is infested with entities. So pretty much the level is just an infinite suburb where it's always nighttime. The houses here are all different as well in size and shape and what's inside of them, except there's one report where someone claimed that there were 2 houses next to each other that were exactly the same, which is weird. Inside the houses themselves, everything seems to be fully furnished and it all looks pretty new. The only thing is that there's no power source to power any of the electronics or any stuff like that. There's a multitude of useful objects that can be found inside the houses though, but some of the houses are just empty. All the houses are pretty normal. Some of the houses even have full backyards with backyard stuff like balls and playhouses and grills, stuff like that. But there is one weird aspect of this level that makes it a little bit more eerie. Sometimes you'll run into 2 houses that have clipped inside of each other, which in reality is physically impossible, obviously. But hey, this is the backrooms, and it's not impossible. The most dangerous part of level 9 is actually the streets, because that's where the entities roam. And there are tons of entities here, because, well, it's infested, like I said. But there are also some foggy areas where the mangled can spawn, so watch out for that. The main entities here are death moths, smilers, skin stealers, Jerry, hounds, transporters, death rats, anithicas, and wretches. So pretty much they're some of the worst entities. And there are even some level exclusive entities here as well, like the Neighborhood Watch, the Observer, and the Mangled. The Neighborhood Watch entity is literally a species that looks like a giant human eye, and they're extremely aggressive. Nice. The Mangled are huge 30 to 50 feet tall creatures that look like they're kind of on stilts. Their bodies look old and they have saggy skin. So, nice. And they're also really dangerous. There are no official bases or outposts here, but there are some groups who roam the infinite suburb and sporadically live in the houses. It is possible to make a base here, but there are so many entities that it's not advised. To enter level 9, the easiest way is by falling through the cave floor on level 8, but you can also crawl up a sewer gate from level 34 and end up here. There's like 30 other ways too, so it's not too hard to get here. To exit the level, you have to follow the street signs, which will take you to level 11 after about 100 miles or so. Or sometimes you can just walk off into a random field and it'll take you to level 9.1 or level 10. There are other exits that are pretty random, it seems. Like you can just walk into a random house and be sent to level 53, or you can find a playground and get into a tube slide and that'll send you to level 283. Nice. So like I said, pretty random. So to summarize this pretty simple level, it is an infinite dark suburb with houses that are fully furnished and have some supplies. But there are also some houses that are not fully furnished and have no supplies. Some of the houses are glitched together, and there are creatures that roam the streets everywhere. The level is pretty easy to enter and exit, and it's a pretty straightforward level. As long as the doors on the houses could lock, I would literally stay here. Level 10 of the
Right, question. So, if the streets are the most dangerous place, and you come up here from the, however you get here from the sewer grate entrance, how are you gonna get off the streets? Like, are they like? Okay, right. What I'm imagining, everyone, is as soon as you pop your head out the sewer grate, it's like literally a zombie apocalypse. The entities will hear you, even if like they're like quarter of a mile away. That's how my brain is processing it. I'm not sure if that's what he meant, but that's how I'm processing it.
Backrooms is classified as a Class 1 difficulty and is safe, secure, and has minimal entities. Level 10, physically, is a infinite wheat field that has a dirt path that cuts directly through it. The wheat itself seems to be safe and normal. You can make bread and stuff with it, you can eat it. And sometimes on the ground near this wheat, there's almond water puddles, which are also safe to drink. Nice. The time of day in this level always seems to be around noon, and it's mostly cloudy, and sometimes it even rains, so cool. Along the sides of the dirt path, there are some random buildings like barns and stables. You can explore these areas if you want to, but normally there isn't really anything there. On the floor of the barns, there's just animal fur and farming equipment like tractors and other tools, but sometimes you also hear weird animal noises coming from an unknown source inside of the buildings only, which is weird. Deeper into this level, you'll find some small houses that kind of have the style of a house that was built back in the 80s. These houses are pretty empty, and there's nothing really else to them except they're just houses. Except some wanderers have reported a crying noise from inside the houses. Ghosts, question mark. Walking into these houses can rarely take you back to level 7 or 9, so that kind of sucks. If you walk a little bit further down the dirt path, you'll notice a whole town. This town has the same architecture style as the houses do, so it's assumed that the houses in the town was built at the same time. But unlike the empty houses, these buildings in the town are full of stuff. It doesn't say what the stuff is, but oh well. The town has stores and apartments and other houses, and pretty much just typical town stuff. Now, very rarely on level 10, creatures can spawn inside of the buildings, like the typical Smiler or Skin Stealer or Hound, you know, the big three. And this level is also home to two entities that are pretty special. The first entity is called the Archers, and these things live in these towers that are randomly, sporadically put on this level that look like medieval archer towers. I don't know, it's weird. They're lit up by torches and they've got furniture from the 1600s inside. And this is where it gets kind of wacky. Sometimes on the level, you'll just hear random trumpet sounds from the sky, like insanely loud or just blast in your ears. And after the trumpets sound for about 2 minutes, the archers come out to scout around the level, I guess. They claim that the towers are their own territory, and they defend them too. And once the trumpet sound blasts again, the archers disappear to an unknown location. It's advised to stay clear of the archers because you don't want to get shot in the face with an arrow. The second special entity here is called the Gluff. These are big fat creatures that wander around the wheat fields. Gluffs are literally only here to help grow the crops because when they sweat, their body sweats out almond water. That's right, folks, almond water. These creatures are really friendly, and they like to frolic around the fields, and they're considered graceful, actually. They're pretty well known as good friends to have. There are several bases and outposts here as well, like the beach.
Hi Texas, it's a friend for you. Yeah. But seriously, if this was actually real life, guys, and I clipped into the back rooms, I would try and get to level 10 with all my might, because this, despite there being, you know, the archers and all that, if I came across one of those got things, I would love to hang out with them.
Bntg level 10 resource station is a base that's here, and they harvest wheat to make breads and other baked goods for the rest of the back rooms. There's about 23 people who live here. The next group is called the Cartographer Station Tertium. The full population of this group is around 3,000 people. They're open to trade, and anyone is welcome, unless you're a member of the Bntg, which then you're not welcome. The next group is called Malt Town, and this is a group of several wanderers who seek refuge in the level 10 town. They're very friendly, and they're guarded by the Bntg. The last group is called the Housekeepers. Now, these are mysterious residents in the houses of level 10 that have apparently, quote, discovered some vital information about the back rooms inside of the houses, but they're not willing to share it. Losers. To enter this level, you can just walk into the fields.
Or they're just saying it to get attention from Meg or the Bntg because they're little fucks.
Level 9, like I said yesterday, or you can climb a chain-linked fence on level 205. To exit, you can chance going into a random house to be teleported to a random level, or you can knock over a scarecrow in a field to be sent to level 807. So to summarize, this level is an infinite, foggy, cloudy wheat field with a dirt path that runs through it. There are houses and a small town in the level, and there are some friendly groups, and there are big, fat, graceful things that water the fields with their own sweat. Nice. Level 11 is classified as a Class 1 difficulty and is safe, secure, and has a minimal entity count. The level is pretty much an infinite city with skyscrapers and other city-type buildings. The cool thing about it, though, is that some of the buildings in this level are buildings from real life, but more on that later. Now to what's inside.
Please don't tell me the Twin Towers are here. Sorry, that was a really insensitive joke. Sorry for those of my United States viewers. That was a very nasty joke. But I do have a legitimate question. Are these buildings from like real life that were destroyed, or are they just like copy and pasted into the back room sort of vibe?
Buildings. This varies between each building. Some of them are empty and some of them are full. The same goes for actually entering the buildings. You can actually go into some, and some you can't go in.
So
the
like GTA 5.
Contents of the inside of the buildings can be weird though, because some aspects of them don't make any sense. Like some stairways lead to nothing, and there are some doors on the top levels of buildings that just open to the outside, where you can just walk out and fall to your demise. I don't know, it's weird. Also, gravity and normal physics don't seem to matter here for the buildings, because some of the buildings are actually clipped into each other or stacked on top of each other. And in some rare cases, there's even been reports of floating buildings. What? Level 11
Me and the boys in creative mode.
Cycle, so it's always afternoon, which means it would be terrible for sleep. Just saying. The sidewalks and the streets are pretty normal, except that some of them go through buildings, or some of them just start ramping upwards towards the sun. What? The streets are the most normal part of the level, actually. They're just warm and dry asphalt, unlike level 9, where the streets in that level were constantly wet.
This place would be the sort of perfect place where you could go drifting in some cars without being bothered by people driving on roads. Has somebody clipped a car through into the back rooms? Oh, that'd be sick.
There is a surplus of almond water here, and you can get it from water fountains, freezers, vending machines, in pretty much every place you get typical water from. There's this weird thing that happens on this level, though, sometimes, and it's when a random car will just drive itself down the street, and then it'll just stop in its tracks. And this is only weird because the cars on this level don't work. They don't have the right wiring. So who's driving or how are they driving? I don't know. Thinking we got some Transformers on our hands, lads. The level actually has some big nuclear power plants that have been classified as inactive by Meg, but they're still dangerous due to radiation, obviously. So Meg advises people to not go near them. Now I'll talk about some of those buildings I mentioned earlier that are from real life. Things like specific buildings from New York, Chicago, LA, and St. Louis. Those are from the US, obviously. They don't say which buildings they are, but I'm assuming it's the Empire State Building from New York, the Bean from Chicago, I have no clue what would be from LA, and then the Arch from St. Louis, but I could be wrong. So yeah, those buildings are here, which is really weird because they're even laid out the exact same inside, and all the stuff that's in the real life ones are here too. Weird. There's actually a good Wi-Fi signal here, but the names of each connection are just a jumble of words and letters that don't mean anything. And there's only 2 entities that spawn here often, and those are facelings and hounds. However, you don't have to worry about them because they're not aggressive on this level, due to something called the Level 11 effect. This effect makes the creatures act like normal pedestrians or normal dogs. So technically, you could just walk right past a faceling that's walking a hound like a dog? What? And they wouldn't even attack you.
Question, do they talk? Like, obviously the hounds most probably don't talk, but it does have a human face, so I stand to reason. Also, so random cars will just drive down the street. So is it possible to no clip a car through here? Is there like, if you're driving a car and you clip through reality, can you like can you clip through the ground straight into level 11? I'd love to know.
Obviously, since this level is almost like real life, there's bound to be several bases here. There's like 15 of them, so buckle up.
Wow.
Meg Base Beta is here, and this is the 4th main Meg Base, and it's still pretty new to the level. Then there's the Eye of Argos, which is the main base for that group.
Hey,
it's a
Argos.
building that's known as the headquarters, and you can stay there unless you have committed a sin. Okay. Then there's the Camp Amber Outpost. This group mainly helps people who are new to the backrooms, and it kind of teaches them the ropes. They live around the level, but they don't all live in one spot. And they're friendly, obviously.
Is it a sin for me to kill demons in a video game? Well, violence, but then again, I'm killing sins. I guess. It's Christian. Doom
Next
Eternal.
is Insurrection Section 7, which is a group of around 800 people that only brings in people who don't like Meg. Nice. Next is the Drone Surveillance Squad. This was a group made by the first 3 explorers of level 11, and they use their drones to record videos and, stuff like that of the other levels. Next is the Homely Hotel. This group runs a hotel service at...
Hang on. I just had a thought. Since there's Wi-Fi in the back rooms, does that mean somebody could record a video in the back rooms, post it on YouTube, if YouTube exists in the back room sort of thing, like the back rooms and it's Earth reality, but obviously it's not our reality. But say for instance they have YouTube, could I post the video onto YouTube and people from the Earth reality, not in the back rooms reality, could see it? But if that was the case, then people would know more about the back rooms that from that reality and how to not clip through the fucking ground.
This level, just like the one they had up in level 5. If you remember, they have their own food staff and everything like that. So it's pretty much a real-life hotel. Next is Jerry's Salvation Group. This is a base made up of the followers of Jerry and has around 40 people in it. And they're actually pretty friendly, unless you insult Jerry. So don't. Now these last 5
Jerry,
groups,
you're a fucking dumb bird.
You got
Just
the
immediately
UBTS,
get
which is the
stabbed.
Backrooms Postal Service with 38 people. You have the Anti-Entity Agency, which is a mysterious group created back in 1952, and they go on covert missions to anti-entities. Cool. Then there's the Radical Radio Team, which is made up of 5 teenagers that dress like they're from the 80s. Losers. And then there's the Malt Town, which is a group of 28 people who run all the stores and storefronts in a level. They're supplied by the Bntg. And lastly, there's the Citizen...
Okay, right. I will say one thing. People from the 1980 are alright. Their clothes were shit, but their songs were on point. You cannot change my mind. This is staying as it is.
Of level 11, which is all 12,000 people who call this place home. Cool. The most common entrance to the level is following the signs from level 9, which will lead you here. And then the most common exit is either walking into a building to be sent to pretty much any level, or you can get into a taxi cab and then be sent to level 43. So yeah, to summarize, level 11 is a city that doesn't obey physics and has over 12,000 inhabitants. Level 12 is classified as Class 0.
Right.
And is...
Okay, I need to say it because somebody's going to say it. Can you fuck the entities on level 11? Because they're not going to try and kill you, but... I got asked the questions nobody's brave enough to answer because I'm stupid like that. But I must know.
Safe, secure, and devoid.
I'm talking about the ones that are the
really
human ones, not like the hounds, the other
ones. It almost like censors itself. So if you try to take a picture or a video of it, all you'll see when you look back at the footage or the picture is TV static. Nice. But the physical description of the level is actually pretty simple. It's a tiny white room with only a table and a chair in the middle. There's a door on the opposite wall, and it's also locked. Many wanderers have gotten here and have exited successfully, but they don't even know how they did it, because they can't remember how they got here or how they left. This is because the level puts a fogginess over everyone's brain, and it doesn't let them think straight. The people who have been here claim that the level actually isn't just a tiny white room. They claim it's a labyrinth of white rooms and doors and tables that go on forever and ever. Nice. But there is a theorized exit that's found in a log from a Meg team that explored the level. And it goes like this. You must be sitting on the original main room chair, and you must have remained there for an average of 15 minutes. Get up, walk to the door, and try to open it. Should be locked. If it opens, lucky you, I guess. Go and boast about it to everyone in Alpha Base. Make sure you do this, though, even if you know it's locked. Then return to the center of the room and find one of the nooks that leads into this wide open area. You need to find one of the copycat doors out there. Shouldn't be too hard. Open and enter said door, as per usual. You'll end up back in the main room. Wait for exactly 1 hour, no more, no less, and try to open the door again. If it doesn't open, repeat these steps. Try to turn the handle as close to the 1 hour mark as possible. If the door does open, it should lead to one of the early levels. We don't have a precise list just yet, but I suspect you can refer to the database page for this level if you're after an exact pool of possible destinations. It's kind of hard to communicate properly with people in level 12 once you're out of it. As soon as the effects wear off, you realize just how bad the mental fogginess is. Okay, it's been an additional hour and the strategy works. Gabs managed to create a pathway to level 1. A lot of the team seem pretty out of it. Let's hope they get better when they leave. This is Commander Harris, Team Leader, Provisional Team Matrix, signing off. So yeah, you pretty much have to do some convoluted opening, closing door thing to leave. And there's
They're basically more
they're
basically more complicated than fucking GTA money glitches.
Theorized way to enter the level, and it's through a random window in level 11 that can be used to no-clip to get here. Like I said, I just read the exit to you. It works most of the time, and it leads you to either level -1, 4, 10...
Oh, -1 is a bad.
25, or 34. Nice. So yeah, that's the entirety of level 12. There's not much to it, but I hope you enjoyed it. It's a pretty simple level, but it's also weird at the same time. So yeah, that was it for the huge compilation of level explanations of the first 12 levels. I'm eventually going to do the first 50, 100,
Well, we'll have to quickly do the backroom survival guide because I've got my tea.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the start of a brand new series here on the channel. It's going to be called the Backrooms Survival Guide. Now, this is an idea that I've had for a while, actually, and I'm finally making it into a video. And I really hope you enjoy it, because I think it's going to be cool. So pretty much each video in the series, I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step guide on how to get through 3 levels of the backrooms at a time. So for this video, I'm going to be telling you how to survive level 0 through level 2, and I'll do more levels in each video if you all would like, but for today, I'm just going to do 3. I'm not going to actually explain the levels since I've already done that before, links below. I'm just going to give you tips and tricks on how to survive, what food to find, what kind of entities you might meet, and how to find the exits to the levels, and some other brugly insight, you could say. If this kind of thing sounds interesting to you, make sure you let me know down below, and without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? When you make the unfortunate trip into the backrooms, you'll end up on what's known as level 0. This is the first level in the backrooms, and it's very confusing to new people. The only things you'll have with you are whatever was physically on you when you glitched here. So, unless you carry food with you or water with you at all times, you've got nothing. Your first order of business is to not freak out. Sanity is one of the most important things to keep in the backrooms. Make sure you don't lose hope or your mind. The yellow walls and the buzzing lights.
So basically, I'm already fucked. Don't freak out. Immediately freaks out if I see myself falling through the ground. Don't lose hope or your mind. I've already lost my mind, and I'm not the most optimistic person, so that's gonna be a problem.
This will be really disorienting at first and really confusing to you, but you can make it out of here. Trust me. You have 2 options of escaping at this level 0 area. The first one is that you can try to no-clip through a wall by yourself. Now, no-clipping is when you physically glitch into or through something and then end up somewhere else. This is the most popular way of traveling in the backrooms, so you probably should learn how to soon anyway. The second option you have is you can walk through the hallways for a long time until you run across a room that seems out of place, kind of. This room is called the Manila Room, and it's important because there's a table in the very middle of it with papers from Meg that kind of explain where you are. Now, Meg is an organization in the backrooms that tries to study it. I made a full video explaining it if you want to go check that out. So Meg has left some papers on this table for new people to read and figure out where they're at, and it kind of gives a basic explanation on how to no-clip. So after you figure out how to no-clip by yourself, or you find those papers, you need to prioritize escaping level 0, because the level itself is very detrimental, really bad for your head. It can induce hallucinations or cause random deja vu moments, And in general, it's just very disorienting and it messes you up if you stay there for too long. So escaping it as fast as possible is the best thing to do. So after you successfully no-clip into a wall, you'll be sent to the next level of the backrooms, which is called Level 1. Level 1 itself is pretty safe. In my opinion, it's safer than Level 0. It's pretty much a huge warehouse with a concrete floor. This level is where you're going to want to stock up on supplies and tools and other stuff for your journey. And you can do that by finding random supply crates that just appear on the floor. This is one of the many unknown properties about the backrooms, but in this case, it helps you out. So I wouldn't complain. These supply crates have anything from weapons to food to water, so you can just take whatever you want. Just make sure you get some almond water, because it's what will keep you sane in your journey. Made a full video explaining that too. Go check it out if you haven't. Just know that it's very important. There's also several outposts with actual people on this level, so you can socialize pretty easily. The bases themselves are located near the entrance to the level, so you can just walk around for a bit and you'll run across one. There's around 500 people who call this level home and actually live here permanently, but unless you want to be stuck in this first real level forever and not explore this alternate reality that the backrooms is, you gotta get moving. After you've stocked up on food and water and tools, it's time to leave this level. Now there are more ways to leave the level than there were before back in level 0, so you get to choose which one is best for you. One way to exit is just by walking down a hallway for long enough, and that can eventually lead you to level 2 by just simply teleporting you. But you can also climb through a randomly appearing hole in the wall to be sent to level 19. However, I recommend going in order if you can. So after you walk down a random hall for a while, you'll be teleported to the next level, called level 2. So level 2 ramps up the danger factor, so be ready for that. It looks like a system of concrete hallways with rooms and doors and other paths that intersect randomly. This one is very easy to get lost in, so try to stay on the same path that you started on. This is the first time you're going to run into actual creatures, so don't freak out, even though you'll probably want to. The entities or creatures here are crawlers, smilers, facelings, clumps.
There we go, facelings. Because, yeah, basically facelings.
Moths, wretches, bursters, and skin stealers. I know that sounds terrifying, but they're pretty easy to avoid because all you have to do is run away if you see one, and they typically won't chase you. But if they do, just keep running and they'll eventually give up. But make sure you catch where you're running to because you're going to want to get back on that path eventually. And there are actually outposts here as well.
Right. In case you still get one of those crates from level 1, hopefully if you're getting that, if you get like a sword and shield, which in my opinion would be amazing because I get to stab the shit out of everything. But yeah.
There's about 50 people combined that live on this level permanently, so you can stay with them for a while if you need to. To find those outposts, all you have to do is continue to walk straight on the path you spawned in at. This level will really test your survival instincts. You'll have to be able to navigate around creatures and make your way through really confusing and disorienting hallways. But all you have to do is keep going straight from where you teleported in, and make sure you're eating and drinking enough too, because sometimes people forget that they have to eat and drink because they're so focused on running away from the enemy, but not eating or drinking is arguably worse than the creatures themselves. Because if you don't consume food and water for long enough, you could turn yourself into a wretch. The process of turning into a wretch is called the Wretched Cycle, and you want to avoid this at all costs. In fact, don't even think about it. It's weird. Just make sure you're eating and drinking. To leave this level, you have to try to find an unlocked door on the right side of the hallway. It might take some time to figure out which one works, but when you find the right door, it'll be unlocked. So all you have to do is go through that door into the room, and you'll be sent to your next leg of the journey, level 3. So yeah, that's it for the first video in this series. I hope you enjoyed it. I like this idea a lot, and I really hope you like it.
Right. I'm going to leave this episode right where there are 2 more videos in this playlist, but they from me, which you guys would have already seen. I hope you guys did enjoy. Yeah, this has been interesting. It's definitely something. This back rooms lore shit goes a lot deeper than we thought. Yeah. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget, don't clip through the floor.